Check. I need to look at something real quick. New egg. Combos. Where's the combos? Where's the combos? Computer system. GPUs and combos. GPU combos. Game deals. Shell shocker deals. No, I don't want office products. I want... Stop. Shell shocker deals? Shell shocker deals GPU. $30.50 for $190. Nah. Something. It's something. What's up, Rain? Long time no see. GPU menu. Components and storage. Core component refurbished. GPU. If I can get a GPU and a monitor combo deal. GPU PSU. Give me a GPU and a monitor combo deal. I don't need, unless you have like a GPU and a power source combo deal. All right. I don't want to hear your political takes. I just want to hear about GPU costs. He said you could get good stuff on Newegg, but it's all in combo deals because the combo deals remove combo deal options. The combo deals keep scalpers from scalping. Scalper no scalping. I want 5070 Ti. 5070 Ti. It's out of stock. Is 5070 Ti better than a 4070 Ti Super? Just giving it a minute, guys. What's up, John Castle? We're about to get started. I'm tired in a mug today. And I don't feel good. So I don't know how long we're going to read for, but it's about to get interesting, boys. It's about to get interesting. I'm still looking for a graphics card. What is this? 5070. Give me a combo deal with a monitor and a graphics card where I can get a good deal on something good. Like a 4070 Ti Super or like a, what is this? 5070. 5070 is only, that's a good deal actually. It's not a Ti. All right. We're starting Joshua today. 4070 Super. That's not even a Ti. How about a 4070 Ti Super? How about a 3090? Can you show me a 3090? That's not ridiculous price. 40, no, that's too much. I don't know. He said in a couple months. That looks really cool. What the heck? 4070 Super from Yeston. Never even heard of this brand, but that looks sick. It's girly. Oh, it's got flowers on the bottom. Never mind. Anyway, enough of that. What's up, Gorilla Biscuits? I've not been on YouTube for a long time. I see you cut your hair. Look good. Yep. We cut it on stream. I chopped them off on a stream. Ugh. All right. Where are we at? Moses about to die. Moses died at the end of Deuteronomy. He did. Ain't no sense for praying him no more. He gone. Now Joshua is going to succeed Moses. And we're going to go into Jericho. We're crossing the Jordan and we're heading into Jericho. Let's go. Let's just get right into it. Toxic biscuits. Let's just get right into it. The book of Joshua, chapter 1. Now after the death of Moses, the servant of the Lord, it came to pass that the Lord spake unto Joshua, the son of Nun. I don't know if it's Nun or Nun, but I'm going to say Nun. Moses' minister, saying, Moses, my servant, is dead. Now therefore arise. Actually, first, I want to look at some things. Let's get some history on this. Okay. It does not explicitly name its author, but Jewish tradition and some Christian traditions attribute its authorship to Joshua. I can already tell it's written slightly different than Moses' writing. I haven't read enough to be sure yet. I mean, Moses died, so he couldn't write it, right? Jewish tradition outlined in the Talmud states that Joshua wrote the book and that Eleazar and Phinehas, the high priests, added some sections after Joshua's death. Modern scholars acknowledge the possibility of Joshua's involvement, especially in the earlier parts of the book. Others view the book as Joshua as part of the Deuteronomistic history, a larger collection of books written by different authors during the exilic period, 600 BC. It's worth noting that the book itself doesn't explicitly state who wrote it, which is why the question of authorship remains open to interpretation. This is the story of the Israelites' conquest to the land of Canaan following Moses' death. When Book of Joshua, earliest manuscripts. Earliest known complete copy of the Book of Joshua in Hebrew is the Aleppo Codex, dating back to the 10th century CE, 10th century current era. Does that mean AD? Dating back to 10th century, so 1000 AD. Well, an early 4th century Coptic translation manuscript from Egypt also exists. Uh-oh, don't let Freddie hear that. The Aleppo Codex is... Now, but they say the Septuagint was written, but that's Greek. This is the first Hebrew manuscript. Now, is this when it was found? Or when it was written? Joshua. When does it take place? Creation. 4263, 4000 BC. Samaritan Chronicle, the Book of Joshua, creation date 4263 BC, according to this. 1362 AD, that's 13th century. Although the oldest extant manuscript for the Samaritan Chronicle, the Book of Joshua, dates to 1362 AD, that's 13th century. That's much later than that Apex Codex. Its origin is likely much older. Keep in mind that the oldest manuscript for the Jewish Masoretic text is 1008 AD. That's the 10th. So that's that Aleppo Codex or whatever it's called. So this Samaritan Chronicle could date back thousands of years earlier. The Samaritans reject all other Jewish books except for the first 5 books of Moses. The Samaritan Chronicle, Book of Joshua, is their own version of history. The Samaritans, the Samaritan Chronicle. I don't know what the Samaritan Chronicle is. The Samaritans reject all. I already read that. The Samaritan version of history is different than the true history from the real Book of Joshua. The creation date of the Samaritan Chronicle, Book of Joshua, is 4263 BC. Samaritan. The date closely follows the. I don't know what I'm reading right now because this looks kind of ghetto. I don't know what the Samaritan Chronicle is. The Septuagint LXX. Scripture cannot be broken. The date closely follows the lower numbers in the Samaritan Pentateuch, which has a creation date of 4475 BC. The Masoretic creation date, 4174 BC. The chronological creation date for the Samaritan Chronicle, Book of Joshua, is an exact match to the Samaritan Pentateuch or the Torah, with the difference of 3 years when you keep in mind that they took the incorrect short sojourn of 215 years rather than a full 430. 215 variants for the length of time Israel spent in Egypt is a theological interpretation difference that is not a textual one. While the correct calculation of the age of the earth for the Samaritan Pentateuch, the age of the earth, is 4,475. When you reduce the number by 215 years, you arrive at 4,260, which is only 3 years less creation date for the Joshua Samaritan Chronicle. Creation date of the earth? Oh, this is when they're saying earth was created 4,263 BC, which basically lines up to any young earth, 6,000 year earth. But they're saying Joshua, the book of Joshua, I don't know. They're saying it was discovered the earliest. Isn't Joshua and Aaron Moses' brothers, or are those different guys? Aaron was Moses' brother. Joshua was not. Or no, I'm sorry. No. Yeah. Yes. Yeah, Aaron is Moses' brother. Joshua and Caleb are the two who get to lead the people into the. I don't know why there's no book of Caleb, or if Joshua does Caleb get mentioned in here, because he's supposed to be an important figure. Him and Joshua and Caleb are the only two left from the original. The only two that were alive, they were with the original spies that went in and took the grapes. And Joshua and Caleb were like, "We got this. Let's go." And the 10 other spies were like, "No, they got giants and big scary walls and weapons and soldiers, and we can't do it." And so God said, other than Joshua and Caleb, all of you are going to die and rot in this desert, and you're never going to see the promised land. W chair. So Joshua and Caleb are heading in. Okay, I was just trying to look at some dating of this. Masoretic text, 10,000 AD is when the first full manuscript is dated. But the Septuagint's older than that. And then they're saying that but that's when that manuscript was written. And that doesn't mean that that's the original manuscript. There's a Egyptian version that's much older, Coptic. It's written in Coptic. And I don't know that Joshua would have known how to write Hebrew. So, Anyway, let's get on with it. Now, after the death of Moses, the servant of the Lord, it came to pass that the Lord spake unto Joshua the son of Nun, Moses' minister, saying, Moses, my servant, is dead. Now therefore arise, go over this Jordan, thou and all this people, unto the land which I do give to them, even to the children of Israel. Every place that the sole of your foot shall tread upon, everything the light touches, every every place that the sole of your foot shall tread upon, that have I given unto you, as I said unto Moses. From the wilderness and this Lebanon, even unto the great river, the river Euphrates, or the river Euphra, against Beth Peor. Euphra? Is it like? Oh, I know what I'm doing. I'm jumping to the top of the page, and it's a new book. I got to go right here. The river Euphrates, all the land of the Hittites, and unto the great sea toward the going down of the sun shall be your coast. There shall not any man be able to stand before thee all the days of thy life. As I was with Moses, so I will be with thee. I will not fail thee nor forsake thee. Be strong and of good courage, for unto this people shalt thou divide for an inheritance the land which I swear unto their fathers to give them. Only be thou strong and very courageous, that thou mayest observe to do according to all the law, which Moses my servant commanded thee. Turn not from it to the right hand or to the left, that thou mayest prosper whithersoever thou goest. This book of the law shall not depart out of thy mouth, but thou shalt meditate therein day and night, and thou mayest observe to do according to all that is written therein. For then thou shalt make thy way prosperous, and then thou shalt have good success. Have I not commanded thee, be strong and of a good courage? Be not afraid, neither be thou dismayed, for the Lord thy God is with thee, whithersoever thou goest. Then Joshua commanded the officers of the people, saying, Pass through the host and command the people, saying, Prepare your victuals. For within 3 days ye shall pass over this Jordan, and go in to possess the land which the Lord your God giveth you to possess it. And to the Reubenites and to the Gadites and to half the tribes of Manasseh spake Joshua, saying, Remember the word which Moses the servant of the Lord commanded you, saying, The Lord your God hath given you rest, and hath given you this land. They're the ones that got the Reubenites, the Gadites, and half of the tribe of Manasseh are the ones that are keeping the land on the other side of the Jordan. But they got to cross with the Israelites and help them fight before they can come and get their land on the other side. Your wives, your little ones, and your cattle shall remain in the land which Moses gave you on this side the Jordan. But ye shall pass before your brethren armed, all the mighty men of valor, and help them. Watch them all get murked until the Lord have given your brethren rest, as he hath given you, and they also have possessed the land which the Lord your God giveth them. Then ye shall return unto the land of your possession and enjoy it, which Moses the Lord's servant gave you on this side Jordan toward the sun rising. And they answered Joshua, saying, All that thou commandest us we will do, and whithersoest thou sendest us we will go. According as we hearkened unto Moses in all things, so will we hearken unto thee. Only the Lord thy God be with thee, as he was with Moses. Whosoever he be that doth rebel against thy commandment, and will not hearken unto thy words in all that thou commandest him, he shall be put to death. Only be strong and of a good courage. Based. All right. They're about to send some spies up in there. They're about to spy up in there. Snapping necks and cashing checks. Driving and thriving. What up, y'all? All right. I think we're about to send the spies in. They sent spies 40 years ago. Remember? And Joshua was one of them. And Joshua, the son of Nun, sent out of Shittim 2 men to spy secretly, saying, Go view the land, even Jericho. Is it a heresy for me to say? I don't think it's impossible that this is written by the same person who wrote Moses. Moses could write, but he wasn't a writer. He couldn't talk well. So it's possible that somebody heard the verbal stories of Moses and then heard the stories of Joshua and then heard the stories and then they wrote all of it. Because it does sound very similar to Moses' writing. But you could say Joshua wrote it and he just spent so much time around Moses and heard him saying the same stuff over and over and over again, because we saw that in the Torah, basically. We saw a lot of repetition. Didn't Aaron speak for him? Yeah, because he wasn't a good speaker. He wasn't the sharpest crayon in the box, that Moses. So, but I don't know. I don't know if that's like a heresy. If you say that, am I denying that Moses wrote the first 5 books? Because Moses couldn't write Joshua. He did. But somebody could have wrote Moses and Joshua. I don't know if that's wrong to say. I'm just thinking out loud. All right. And Joshua, the son of Nun, sent out of Shittim 2 men to spy secretly. Only 2 this time, sent 12 last time, saying, "Go view the land, even Jericho." And they went and came into a harlot's house named Rahab and lodged there. Rahab. This is our first time meeting Rahab. And lodged there. And it was told the king of Jericho, saying, "Behold, there came men in hither tonight of the children." Wait. Okay, see, this is different. And it was told the king of Jericho, saying, "Behold, there came in hither tonight of the children of Israel to search out the country. And the king of Jericho sent unto Rahab, saying, Bring forth the men that are come to thee, which are entered into thine house, and they be come to search out all the country." See, this is different than Moses' writing, but it's also more narrative. I don't know. "And the women took the 2 men and hid them, and said thus, There came men unto me, but I wish not whence they were." This is I've when we've talked about is it ever okay to lie? This is a conversation I've had with Mr. Mad. We got in like a debate about this, and I've talked about this before on my show. It's like it's just a question I've always had. Like, I guess there's a time for everything and everything in its time. And then we talked about, is lying necessarily bearing false witness? On VK, we've had questions like this before. Is it ever okay to lie to your spouse or something like that? Like and this is the example I use. I always point to Rahab. I point to Rahab, I point to Abraham, and I point to David or Solomon. Whoever tells Saul, I forget. We talked about this a couple weeks ago, but there's a verse where he does 2 things, but God tells him only tell Saul 1 thing. Don't tell him the other thing. So that would be like what people would call a lie by omission. This is one of my examples I go to is Rahab. Rahab is actually doing the will of God. And this is the example that a lot of people will go to when they're talking about, is it ever okay to lie? They'll always go, and I've done this too, where you go to the example, what if what if somebody's breaking into your house with a gun and your wife and your kids are hiding under the bed? Or, the Anne Frank example. What if you got the SS coming to your front door and you got, some small hats. I guess we're doing Bible study and I'm talking about Israel. You got some Israelites in your attic, is it okay to lie in that situation? The reason people bring up that I don't know if this is the reason that other people bring it up, or it's just a good common sense, way to rebuttal the argument that it's never okay to lie. The reason I bring it up is because it's from the Bible. It's Rahab. It's the story of Rahab. She's hiding the spies in her house, and the king is looking for the spies, and she lies to the king, and it's a good thing. Plus, she's a woman, so what do you expect? I'm just kidding. I'm just playing, ladies. You know I love you. Uh, the woman took the two men and hid them, and said thus, There came men unto me, but I wish not whence they were. I wist not whence they were. I don't know where they went. And it came to pass about the time of shutting of the gate, when it was dark, that the men went out. Whither the men went, I wot not. Pursue after them quickly, for ye shall overtake them. So she said, I don't know where they went, but when it got dark, I told them they got to go. You don't got to go home, but you got to get the heck up out of here. And they left. I don't know which way they went. Probably towards the gates to leave the city. Chase them. You'll catch them. Rahab straight up lying to these fools. And it's a good thing. And I knew I've used this before. I just forgot what part of the Bible it was in. I could have looked it up, but I never did. But now I know. Let me write a note real quick. Rahab lies. Shocker. I don't know where my pen is. Pen is? Don't say pen is. I found it. I think it's fine as you're not denying the text. You're talking about the question about the authorship. Yeah, but I don't know. Some of these rules, you be committing a heresy and not even know it half the time by asking a question. Rahab lies. Is it ever okay to lie? All right. Oh, there's another pen right there. What the? All right. But she had brought them up to the roof of the house and hid them with the stalks of flax, which she had laid in order upon the roof. And the men pursued after them the way to Jordan unto the fords. And as soon as they which pursued after them were gone out, they shut the gate. And before they were laid down, she came up unto them upon the roof. And she said unto the men, I know that the Lord hath given you the land, and that your terror is fallen upon us, and that all the inhabitants of the land faint because of you. For we have heard how the Lord dried up the water of the Red Sea for you when ye came out of Egypt, and what ye did unto the two kings of the Amorites that were on the other side Jordan, Sihon and Og, whom ye utterly destroyed. And as soon as we had heard these things, our hearts did melt. Neither did there remain any more courage in any men because of you. For the Lord your God, he is God in heaven above and in earth beneath. Now therefore I pray you, swear unto me by the Lord, since I have showed you kindness, that ye will also show kindness unto my father's house, and give me a true token, and that you will save alive my father and my mother and my brethren and my sisters. Whoa, you're asking for a lot. And all that they have, and deliver our lives from death. And the man answered her, Our life for yours. If ye utter not this our business, and it shall be when the Lord hath given us the land, that we will deal kindly and truly with thee. Then she let them down by a cord through the window, for her house was upon the town wall, and she dwelt upon the wall. And she said unto them, Get you to the mountain, lest the pursuers meet you, and hide yourselves there 3 days, until the pursuers be returned, and afterward may ye go your way. And the men said unto her, We will be blameless of this thine oath which thou hast made us swear. Behold, when we come into this land, thou shalt bind this line of scarlet thread in the window which thou didst let us down by, and thou shalt bring thy father and thy mother and thy brethren and all thy father's household home unto thee. So he's saying, when we come, we gonna come. We gonna come heavy. So what you need to do, you need to tie a red string, the scarlet ribbon. Isn't that you need to tie that red string, leave it hanging on your window, and you need to bring your whole family here, because the rest of this wall is coming down, Rahab. All right. And it shall be that whosoever shall go out of the doors of thy house into the street, his blood shall be upon his head, and we will be guiltless. And whosoever shall be with thee in the house, his blood shall be on our head, if any hand be upon him. And if thou utter this our business, then we will be quit of thine oath which thou hast made us swear. And she said, according unto your words, so be it. And she sent them away, and they departed. And she bound the scarlet line in the window. And they went and came unto the mountain and abode there 3 days until the pursuers were returned. And the pursuers sought them throughout all thy way, but found them not. So the two men returned and descended from the mountain and passed over and came to Joshua the son of Nun and told him all the things that befell them. And they said unto Joshua, truly the Lord hath delivered into our hands all the land, for even all the inhabitants of the country do faint because of us. They're fainting just hearing our names, Joshua. Let's get them. Oh, it's going down, Rahab. That's right. Let's keep it moving. Chapter 3. Hold up. Chapter 3. Let's go. Let's get it. Chapter 3. And Joshua rose early in the morning, and they removed from Shittim and came to Jordan, he and all the children of Israel. I think he's about to make the waters part in the Jordan, and lodged there before they passed over. And it came to pass after 3 days that the officers went through the host, and they commanded the people, saying, when you see the ark of the covenant of the Lord your God, and the priests of the Levites bearing it, then ye shall remove from your place and go after it. And there shall be a space between you and it, about 2,000 cubits by measure. Come not near unto it, that ye may know the way by which ye must go, for ye have not passed this way heretofore. So we're going to follow behind the ark, stay 2,000 feet away. Don't get too close. Nah, it's powerful. And watch and follow it, because you never crossed this path before. I think if I remember right, he splits the Jordan like Moses split the Red Sea, which would explain why they've never traveled that way before. And Joshua said unto the people, sanctify yourselves, for tomorrow the Lord will do wonders among you. And Joshua spake unto the priests, saying, take up the ark of the covenant and pass over before the people. And they took up the ark of the covenant and went before the people. And the Lord said unto Joshua, this day will I begin to magnify thee in the sight of all of Israel, that they may know that as I was with Moses, so I will be with thee. And thou shalt command the priests that bear the ark of the covenant, saying, when ye are come to the brink of the water of Jordan, ye shall stand still in the Jordan. And Joshua said unto the children of Israel, come hither and hear the words of the Lord your God. And Joshua said, hereby ye shall know that the living God is among you, and he will without fail drive out from before you the Canaanites, and the Hittites, and the Hivites, and the Perizzites, and the Girgashites, and the Amorites, and the Jebusites. Behold, the ark of the covenant of the Lord of all the earth passeth over before you into Jordan. Now therefore take you 12 men out of the tribes of Israel, out of every tribe a man. And it shall come to pass, as soon as the soles of the feet of the priests that bear the ark of the Lord of all the earth, shall rest in the waters of the Jordan, that the waters of the Jordan shall be cut off from the waters that come down from above, and they shall stand upon an heap. So they're gonna waters that come from above. It's gonna be walls of water, just like in old times. No, Gorilla, I've never done that. I have no idea what you're talking about. And it came to pass, when the people removed from their tents to pass over Jordan, and the priests bearing the ark of the covenant before the people, and as they that bear the ark were come unto Jordan, and the feet of the priests that bear the ark were dipped in the brim of the water, for Jordan overfloweth all his banks out of this time of overfloweth all his banks all the time of harvest, that the waters which came down from above stood and rose up upon an heap and we're far from the city Adam that is beside Zeraton. And those that came down toward the sea of the plain, even the salt sea failed and were cut off, and the people passed over right against Jericho. And the priests that bear the ark of the covenant of the Lord stood firm on dry ground in the midst of Jordan, and all the Israelites passed over on dry ground until all the people were passed clean over Jordan. What do they? I think when they say above and below, the waters which came down from above stood and rose on a heap. It's a river. And by above, I think they mean either high ground or it just means north. Basically, the direction the water's flowing, maybe it's flowing downhill at an angle. The waters from above stopped. They like hit a wall and they stacked up straight high in a heap, like a tower of water. So the water's coming down and it goes, and then the waters below slowly dried up and receded back toward the Red Sea. And then it made a path they could walk down. So it doesn't necessarily have to be two walls of water like with Moses. The way it's described and the way that the Red Sea is, God splits the water and there's two walls of water. Whereas this instead, it's more of a flowing river. And it's like if you put a dam in the river and it hit the dam and the water, instead of splashing over the top, went straight up like a wall, like an invisible wall was there. Meanwhile, since it's not flowing anymore, the water on this side recedes back. Sometimes you gotta spake. Smoten. You gotta smoten. All right, so they crossed the Jordan. Israel crosses the Jordan. Just 1 second. The waters which came down from above stood and rose up upon a heap. And those that came down toward the sea of the plain, even the salt sea, failed and were cut off. That makes sense. I mean, it's a miracle still, but it doesn't make sense, but it does make sense. All right. Chapter 4. Chapter 4. And it can't, what are we doing now? Israel crosses the Jordan. Oh, we're about to get to Jericho. If we can read through chapter 6, we can read about the fall of Jericho. Yeah, we're going to go through chapter 6 today. And which will get us all the way through the fall of Jericho. But we got more good stuff tomorrow. We got the kings being captured, Canaanites divided, the territories. There's some begats. Yeah, there's some begats and some territory division. Gets a little slow during those parts, but for today, we got some action, boys. Let's get to Jericho. Let's cross this Jordan. Chapter 4. And it came to pass when all the people were clean, passed over the Jordan, that the Lord spake unto Joshua, saying, Take you 12 men out of the people, out of every tribe a man, and command ye them, saying, Take you hence out of the midst of Jordan, out of the place where the priest's feet stood firm, 12 stones, and ye shall carry them over with you, and leave them in the lodging place where ye shall lodge this night. Then Joshua called the 12 men whom he had prepared of the children of Israel out of every tribe of man. And Joshua said unto them, Pass over before the ark of the Lord your God into the midst of the Jordan, and take you up every man of you a stone upon his shoulder. Isn't it interesting the Ark of the Covenant leads them through the waters, just like Noah's Ark led him and his family through the waters. Interesting. In the midst of Jordan, take you up every man and you a stone upon his shoulder, according unto the number of the tribes of the children of Israel, that this may be a sign among you, that when your children ask their fathers in time to come, saying, what mean ye by these stones? Then ye shall answer them, that the waters of the Jordan were cut off before the ark of the covenant of the Lord. When it passed over Jordan, the waters of the Jordan were cut off. And these stones shall be for a memorial unto the children of Israel forever. And the children of 12 stones, is that Stonehenge? And the children of Israel did so, as Joshua commanded, and took up 12 stones out of the midst of Jordan, as the Lord spake unto Joshua, according to the number of the tribes of the children of Israel, and carried them over with them unto the place where they lodged, and laid them down there. And Joshua set up 12 stones in the midst of Jordan, in the place where the feet of the priests which bare the ark of the covenant stood, and they are there unto this day. I wonder if they've ever found them. 12 stones on the shore of the Jordan. I'm sure somebody found them and probably built a military base around them or destroyed them. 12 stones by the Jordan River. Biblical account of Joshua 4. The Israelites, after crossing, placed 12 stones at a memorial. Here's a more detailed explanation of the crossing. Discovered the 12-stone monument at Gilgal. This is TikTok. I don't know, my boy. I don't know, my boy. I mean, I'm guessing these dudes aren't like super crazy strength, so those rocks do look about the right size, but hold on. This is TikTok, guys, but this is what YouTube's taking me. I don't know if this is real. Let's see. Get off of there. Nah. Let me see. 12 stones. Tel Gilgal. Joshua's memorial at Gilgal. Let's see what this looks like. Okay, that's pretty. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. Adiba map mosaic with the location of Gilgal, which is also 12 stones, 6th century AD. Jericho, Gilgal, which is also 12 stones. So this is the Jordan River. They crossed it. They built their stones here. And this is Jericho. And that's a 6th century mosaic. Where is this? Well, this does not prove the arrangement of the 12 memorial stones. It seems at least likely as any other arrangement. Could this memorial still be found? In a word, unlikely. There are a number of reasons for this. One is that, as shown above, these stones were not mammoth rocks that would be hard for later passerbys or a local farmer to move. Another complicated factor, right, one guy carried this rock and set it down there. So it's not like Stonehenge, unless they were giants, but they're not giants. They're going to murk the giants. Another complicating factor is that we don't know the exact location of Gilgal. More than half dozen locations have been suggested by various scholars. In addition, the area east of Jericho is pretty large. This area might have been used for a campground, discrowning the rough terrain just to the west of the Jordan River floodplain. 11 square miles. So you're trying to find 12 stones next to each other in an 11 square mile area of the desert. Could be anything. But this, I mean, this looks pretty good. But again, yeah, like anybody could have set these stones here. Somebody might have been trying to recreate it. And if there were 12 stones about this big, you know, each guy moved his own rock. They should have had 12 guys move 12 rocks instead of one guy moving one rock each. Then they could have used much larger rocks. Are they really 12 stones in the Bible? Let's see. What else do we got?
Hi, I'm JT, and I made Result Hunter, the search engine for conservatives. Let me just tell you what it does. First of all, big tech right now.
This is 30 minutes long?
Some stuff in here, but more than that,
that's more
there
than
is
12.
a lot of biblical things that happened right here. It's really, really rich in biblical history, so that's why we've come here. We are about 8 miles north of Jericho and just a few miles west of the Jordan River. Now, it appears in Scripture that there are 2 Gilgals. There was a camp Gilgal. That's where the Israelites set up their camp right after they crossed the Jordan River and first entered into the Promised Land. But it appears later that they established a more permanent dwelling a little bit north of the Camp Gilgal. So in this particular teaching and video, we're going to be talking about Camp Gilgal, which was down by Jericho, and the permanent Tel Gilgal, which is right here. And once again, there have been discoveries found here that give great weight to the fact that this was the more permanent Gilgal, and we can see the valley below us. There was plenty of place, there was water, plenty of place to camp and to stay, but it was more of a permanent residence. Now, I want to talk a little bit about some historical background here about this place and about this human footprint. Each place is uniquely shaped like a human right footprint.
Well, I don't know about all that.
Very interesting.
None of these shapes look like a footprint, though.
This is likely attributed to the promise given to them in Deuteronomy.
I guess that's close.
11:24.
I guess that's kind of like a footprint.
Every place on which the sole of your foot treads shall be yours. Your border will be from the wilderness to Lebanon, and from the river Euphrates, as far as the western sea. So we believe that from Deuteronomy, that when the Israelites came in, they would camp, and then they would build their camps in the shape, part of it in the shape of a human footprint. Now in
I don't know about all that.
Joshua 4:19, it places Gilgal, the camp Gilgal, on the eastern edge of Jericho. Okay, right in between the Jordan River and Jericho. It says in Joshua 4:19. Now the people came up from the Jordan River on the 10th day of the first month and camped at Gilgal on the eastern edge. Whenever we see a lot of historical background at a site, it does help us to believe that there's significance here. Otherwise, you wouldn't have all these people doing things for all this length of time here.
But who cut this?
And then there's this heel part of the footprint shape.
Okay, I mean, I guess it's kind of like a footprint.
At Tel Gilgal, and that's going to be right over here. The heel's here, and the toe and the front part of the foot is down below towards the palms, and we'll be walking and looking at that. There was a tabernacle here. We can see some remains of a tabernacle. There's some remains of a 12-stone monument. And it appears that this monument, these 12 stones, were moved from the temporary Camp Gilgal up here to the permanent Tel Gilgal, because they found a 12-stone monument here. There's been found an altar here, and once again the toe part of the footprint is down towards the lower part. So then right here you can see I'm standing in the heel of this.
That's pretty cool. I'd like to check that out someday. But I don't know, that 12-stone monument, I only saw like 3 stones. We lost a couple stones over the years. Oh. Is this going to explain how they crossed
20
it?
feet deep, and it went up into the Jordan Valley about 20 or 30 miles, roughly.
Yep.
We'll be talking.
So see, that's how they crossed. And see, since it said, so this is the river, but it said in here in the Bible that the river was overflowing its banks due to flooding season. So the blue line is how much would have actually been river. The deepest point, it would have been 120 feet. This is the top that the water flowed down from that it references. And then this is the bottom, the delta, where it goes into the, I believe this is the Red Sea down here. Yeah, and it says Adam and Shittim. So when it says it flows down from Adam, so basically there was like a wall here,
About 120 feet
an invisible wall of God.
deep, and it went up into the Jordan Valley about 20 or 30 miles, roughly. And we'll be talking about that tomorrow. I mean, the miracle is far larger than what we probably think when we've maybe been to Sunday school or we've heard about it. So when the Israelites first crossed the Jordan River, they camped at Camp Gilgal, and that's the Camp Gilgal your God had done to the Red Sea. And you see this duplication of miracles, and you'll see that quite regularly, which he dried up before us until we had crossed, that all the peoples of the earth, that everyone may know, not just them, but so all the peoples of the earth may know that the hand of the Lord is mighty.
Jah made the herb for man. Yeah, you should read about the strange fire. Read about Nabad and Abihu when they lit the strange fire in the temple. What happened to them?
So that you may fear the Lord your God forever. So once again, we just see that the nation of Israel was a mouthpiece, was a vehicle through which God wanted to speak and show his glory to all of the world.
That's why they call it getting baked, because they got roasted alive.
But that happened at Camp Gilgal. But once again, it appears
all right, enough of this.
The stones
Let's get
were
back
moved
to
up here because they.
That was interesting, though. I wanted to see some physical, what it looked like. I wanted to see the 12 stones altar. So I guess they moved the stones. Where was I? Was I on chapter 5 yet? No. These stones shall be as a memorial unto the children of Israel forever. And the children, verse 8, and the children of Israel did so as Joshua commanded, and took up 12 stones out of the midst of Jordan, as the Lord spake unto Joshua, according to the number of the tribes of the children of Israel, and carried them over with them unto the place where they lodged, and laid them down there. And Joshua set up 12 stones in the midst of Jordan, in the place where the feet of the priests which bare the ark of the covenant stood. And they are there unto this day. For the priests which bare the ark stood in the midst of Jordan until everything was finished that the Lord commanded Joshua to speak unto the people, according to all that Moses commanded Joshua. And the people hastened and passed over. And it came to pass, passed over, that's a nice one. And it came to pass, wonder why the New Testament says drunkards will not inherit the kingdom. Does that apply to all addictions? I don't know. Because there'd have. I would think yes. Because it talks about keeping your body a temple and keeping your mind not to be intoxicated in drunkenness. I heard one street preacher say it. He said, alcohol, you can drink a couple beers or you can drink a couple glasses of wine and you don't get drunk. So you're not a drunkard just because you drink a little beer. Whereas pot, if you take one big hit of pot and you're not a regular smoker, you're high. Boom, it hits you like that. You're intoxicated, you're drunk. You've let down your guard. And so I don't know, but then people would argue, well, this is the same thing a drunkard would say is, well, no, I'm totally fine. So drunkards will not inherit the kingdom. I don't know. Eventually we'll have to. I think I've done a show before about what the Bible says about alcohol and drinking a long time ago. I think I did one on that. But I would think it applies to other things. But then again, I don't even know what addiction means. So I don't know. Like, I don't know. That's a tough one. I'm tired. Don't make me think right now, Seesaw. But yeah, I think so. I think that would apply to any mind altering substance that physically or mentally you can't do it without. You're dependent on it. Yeah. Where are we? For the priests bear the ark, verse 10. For the priests which bear the ark stood in the midst of Jordan until everything was finished, that the Lord commanded Joshua to speak unto the people according to all that Moses commanded Joshua, and the people hasted and passed over. And it came to pass when all the people were clean, passed over, that the ark of the Lord passed over, and the priests in the presence of the people, and the children of Reuben and the children of Gad and half the tribe of Manasseh passed over armed before the children of Israel, as Moses spake unto them. About 40,000 prepared for war passed over before the Lord unto battle to the plains of Jericho. On that day the Lord magnified Joshua in the sight of all Israel, and they feared him as they feared Moses all the days of his life. And the Lord spake unto Joshua, saying, Command the priests that bear the ark of the testimony, that they come up out of Jordan. Joshua therefore commanded the priests, saying, Come ye up out of Jordan. And it came to pass, when the priests that bear the ark of the covenant of the Lord were come up out of the midst of Jordan, and the soles of the priests' feet were lifted up onto the dry land, that the waters of Jordan returned unto their place and flowed all over his banks, as they did before. I would think yes, especially when you look at adultery. Adultery to Jesus was even if you just lusted in your heart, applies to things that you consider as your God or thing above God in life. Facts, yeah. Yeah, so I think if that's what we mean by addiction, if we mean something that you put before you put God, and I think that's probably the best definition of addiction. Like, I always say addiction's not real because God never made an addict. You're just being weak. When I say you, I mean me and anybody who's ever struggled with addiction, as they say. But but you're not struggling with addiction. You're just not seeking God. You're not putting him first. And so you chase after these worldly things and you make them your God. If that's what addiction is, then yes, any addiction. If you get a chocolate buzz and you eat, well, then that would be gluttony. Being gluttonous. If you're addicted to food, if you're addicted to chocolate, if you're addicted to coffee, if you're fiending for it, and you think, oh, I can't pray today, or I can't read the Bible today, or I can't go to church today, or whatever, because I got to drink my coffee. That's exactly what I think addiction is, weakness. Yeah. its weakness or its strength given to you by Satan, not of God. But yeah, that would not be good. I shook Willie Nelson's hand in a concert. What the heck? All right. And those 12, and the people came up out of Jordan on the 10th day. Where was I? They feared him as they feared Moses. And the Lord spake unto Joshua, saying, command the priests that bear the ark of the testimony that they come up out of Jordan. Joshua therefore commanded the priests, saying, come ye up out of Jordan. And it came to pass, when the priests that bear the ark of the covenant of the Lord were come up out of the midst of the Jordan, and the soles of the priests' feet were lifted up onto dry land, that the waters of Jordan returned unto their place, and flowed all over his banks, as they did before. And the people came up out of Jordan on the 10th day of the first month, and encamped in Gilgal, in the east border of Jericho. And those 12 stones which they took out of Jordan did Joshua pitch in Gilgal. And he spake unto the children of Israel, saying, when your children shall ask their fathers in time to come, saying, what mean these stones? Then ye shall tell your children, know, K-N-O-W, saying, Israel came over this Jordan on dry land. For the Lord your God dried up the waters of Jordan from before you, until ye were passed over, as the Lord your God did to the Red Sea, which he dried up from before us, until we were gone over. That all the people of the earth might know the hand of the Lord, that he is mighty, that ye might fear the Lord your God forever. Based. If you're looking at chocolate for comfort as opposed to God, facts. Yeah, that would be, I think that would be the same as gluttony or intoxicating. It's like strong drink. All right, chapter 5. And it came to pass, when all the kings of the Amorites, which were on the side of the Jordan westward, and all the kings of the Canaanites, which were by the sea, heard that the Lord had dried up the waters of Jordan from before the children of Israel, until we were passed over, that their hearts melted. Neither was there spirit in them any more because of the children of Israel. They're afraid. They're shaking in their boots right now. They're like, oh man, you heard what happened to Og and Sihon? You heard what happened over there to Og and Sihon? They got wiped out. And they just walked across the Jordan. And it's overflowing right now. This is like 5 miles. He just dried up the ocean. At that time, the Lord said unto Joshua, make these sharp knives, and circumcise again the children of Israel the second time? Again? You got to double snip them? And Joshua made him sharp knives. This part. And Joshua made him sharp knives and circumcised the children of Israel at the hill of the foreskins. At the hill of the foreskins. Gibeath Hara Loth. Gibeath Hara Loth. The hill of the foreskins. I should not Google this. Gibeath. Did I spell that right? Gibeah. Gibeah. How many B's? 1 B. Gibeah Hara. 2 A's. 3 A's. Gibeah Haraloth means hill of the foreskins is the location. Oh, that's not. Okay. I thought that was a physical place on the body. He snipped them up to the hill of the foreskins, but no. That's what they called the place where they did it. They called it the hill of the foreskins. I wonder if this guy takes these people on a field trip over to Gibeah Haraloth. If you look on the ground, you might find a trinket. You might find an ancient foreskin here at Gibeah Haraloth, which translates in Hebrew to the hill of the foreskins. The hills have foreskins was the original title. The studio wouldn't budge. All right. The hill of the foreskins. And this is the cause why Joshua did circumcise. All the people that came out of Egypt that were males, even all the men of war, died in the wilderness by the way after they came out of Egypt. Now all the people that came out were circumcised, but all the people that came out were circumcised. But all the people that were born in the wilderness by the way, as they came forth out of Egypt, them they had not circumcised. Okay. Woo. So he's not circumcising them for the second time. It's the second circumcision ritual where the first time all those people are dead. These people have not been circumcised yet. So that's why we're going over to the hill of circumcisions, the hill of the foreskin, and we're going to snip you guys up. For the children of Israel walked 40 years in the wilderness till all the people that were men of war, which came out of Egypt, were consumed, because they obeyed not the voice of the Lord, unto whom the Lord sware that he would not show them the land which the Lord sware unto their fathers, that he would give us, a land that floweth with milk and honey. And their children, whom he raised up in their stead, them Joshua circumcised, for they were uncircumcised, because they had not circumcised them by the way. And it came to pass, when they had done circumcising all the people, that they abode in their place in the camp till they were whole. In other words, they had to heal up for a little while. We're not going into battle with all our men, That would have been, this is how you know that that we serve God's will and not our own, Satan won't prevail. That God's plan is what happens, because the soldiers could have easily attacked at that point. if Satan were able to, destroy God's people, which he's not, but if he was, he would have had them attack. He would have had the Canaanites attack right after Joshua got done. It would have been like, hey, you see them up there? What are they doing? They're up there at the hill of the foreskin. What are they doing? They're snipping all the men. And then all the men are like sore for like a month. They can't walk because you ain't trying to get around, That would have been the perfect time to mount a strategic opposition. They were doing it as grown men without anesthesia. Yeah. He missed the first time. No. They only got it was one time. Only one time. Till they were whole. And then there's a note here. It says 3 or healed. Yeah. Well, I would not feel like a whole man if I was healing from that as an adult. All these men running like they've been on a horse. They're all walking around like this. Dude, that would have been the time to attack. And the Lord said unto Joshua, this day have I rolled away the reproach of Egypt from off you. Wherefore the name of the place is called Gilgal unto this day. Gilgal meaning that is rolling. So I've rolled Egypt away from you. That is rolling. And also all the men are going to roll down the hill of the foreskins because they can't walk. And the children of Israel encamped in Gilgal and kept the Passover on the 14th day of the month at even in the plains of Jericho. At even means at nighttime. And they did eat of the old corn of the land on the morrow after the Passover, unleavened cakes and parched corn in the selfsame day. And the manna ceased on the morrow after they had eaten of the old corn of the land. Neither had the children of Israel manna any more. But they did eat of the fruit of the land of Canaan that year. That's like a joke. It's like, and then that day, the manna from heaven stopped falling, and Israel never again ate of the manna of the Lord. But they did eat a lot of Canaanite fruit that year. They're about to go up in Canaanite. What? And it came to pass when Joshua was by Jericho that he lifted up his eyes and looked and behold, there stood a man over against him. Oh, this is the cool part. This is when Joshua talks to the angel of the Lord. Listen to this. Okay. And I think, well, I like to think of this as Michael, because there's images of Michael, and in any writings about Michael, it talks of him wielding a sword. And the angel of the Lord in Balaam's ass story is holding a sword. Now, this angel is holding a sword. Michael is always depicted as having a sword. I believe there's a time when it mentions Michael, the archangel, by name and says that he wields a sword. So I like to think that this is Michael. But I know some people get mad at that. They'll say that's a heresy. It's Jesus. Okay, maybe it is. Maybe you're right. I don't know. But I do know that in the New Testament, it specifically names the angel of the Lord Gabriel. It says Gabriel, the angel of the Lord Gabriel, was telling of Jesus being born. So how is Jesus born? If Jesus is the angel of the Lord, how is there an angel who's named Gabriel in the New Testament telling the people that Jesus is coming? Or I believe he tells Joseph that Jesus is coming. So Jesus isn't born yet. But like, he says his name is Gabriel and he tells them Jesus is going to come. I don't know. Maybe there's different ones. Maybe sometimes it is Jesus. Maybe sometimes it's an angel, which just means messenger. Jesus is a messenger. Couldn't the angel of the Lord, though, refer to multiple people, though, just depending on the circumstance? Yeah. Yeah, it could. There could be multiple angels of the Lord. Different levels of the angelic hierarchy could act as angels of the Lord. Unless they're named, and the angel of the Lord is only named once, and it's Gabriel. And that Gabriel is one of the archangels. So, and this is why this is just speculation. This is just me assuming. I'm not interpreting. I'm just thinking out loud. If Gabriel is an angel of the Lord, and Michael is an angel of the Lord, and Gabriel is an archangel, and Michael is an archangel, then it seems to make sense. And Michael is depicted and talked about as wielding a sword. He's a warrior. And twice we see an angel of the Lord wielding a sword in the Old Testament. Then it makes sense to me that that would be Michael. I don't know that, though. It just makes sense to me. But I don't know. Maybe it's Jesus. Maybe it's the archangel Chris or Steve, or I don't know. I don't know. Looked, and behold, there stood a man over against him with his sword drawn in his hand. And Joshua went unto him and said unto him, Art thou for us or for our adversaries? Now it says a man with a sword. Yes, this is Michael. This is Michael. It's the captain of the host. It's the captain. Michael was as opposed to a monolithic title. Look, this is Michael the Archangel. He's always depicted with a sword. right? He's the number one warrior. And in Balaam's ass, it says the angel of the Lord was there wielding a sword. In this story, we have the captain of the host of the Lord, the captain of God's angels, the God's closest angels, God's soldiers. This is the captain of them wielding a sword, the angel of the Lord. And then the only time we're ever given a name on the angel of the Lord is Gabriel. But Gabriel is another archangel like Michael. So I think it makes more sense that this is talking about Michael. I don't care if it's a heresy or who said what or whatever. I don't care. It just makes more sense to me. And I think this is where people, well, I think the Jehovah's Witnesses actually think that Jesus is Michael. So the way they justify it is half the denominations will say that in this passage, what we're reading about right now, that's Jesus. Then half the people will say, no, that's Michael, the archangel. So like the way the Jehovah's Witnesses have squared it away is they say Jesus is Michael, which I don't agree with that. But that boy Michael. Look, this is what happens if you put images from Michael. Sword, 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 sword. Whether you're Catholic, whether you're Orthodox, whether you're Protestant, whether you're dang Jehovah's Witness, Michael got a sword. Don't come in here being degenerate. I'll time you out and you can leave, Anson. Have you ever read a copy of The Watchtower? Isn't that Jehovah's Witness newsletter? Yeah, I've read it. An angel of the Lord, not the angel of the Lord, something like that. I mean, usually it said the angel of the Lord, but there could be more than one. What about if you're an atheist? Well, then listen, it's just a cool story. Okay, so listen again. This is important. And it came to pass when Joshua was by Jericho that he lifted up his eyes and looked, and behold, there stood a man over against him with his sword drawn in his hand. And Joshua went unto him and said unto him, Art thou for us or for our adversaries? And listen to how he answers. This is interesting. This says something about, I don't want to get into it, but God's in charge. And he said, Nay, but as captain of the host of the Lord am I now come. And Joshua fell on his face to the earth and did worship and said unto him, What saith my Lord unto his servant? Lowercase l. And the captain of the Lord's host said unto Joshua, Loose thy shoe from off thy foot, for the place whereon thou standest is holy. And Joshua did so. So Joshua sees what he thinks is a man holding a sword. And he walks up to him and he says, Are you for us or are you for our enemy? Which side are you on? Whose side are you on? And he says, Neither. I'm here for God. I'm here as the leader of God's army. I'm here for God. I'm not here for you. I'm not here for them. I'm here as the leader of God's army. You're not going to win this war, Joshua. The Israelites aren't going to win this war, Joshua. This is nothing about them. This is about God wants to wipe these wicked people off the face of the earth. And I got it covered. You guys are just going to walk around in a circle and blow a trumpet. We're going to handle this. don't don't promote his dang stream on my channel. Ain't nobody trying to hear about that. All right. Chapter 6. Now Jericho was straitly shut up because of the children of Israel. None went out and none came in. That's the last place I want to direct anybody to. What the heck? Now Jericho was straitly shut up because of the children of Israel. None went out and none came in. And the Lord said unto Joshua, Rome. Oh my God, Rome. Oh my gosh. Rome, don't even play with me right now. The Holy Spirit can reveal biblical truths to you as much as any Bible scholar, Josh. I'm sick of Christians online saying we can't read and interpret because we don't have some degree or permission. I know, facts, Esau. I know. And then if you ask questions or you're trying to figure things out, it's like you're a heretic and I know the way. But this guy the other day told me that he knows the way. This is the way. And he disagrees with you. So it's ridiculous. It's ridiculous, man. And the Lord said unto Joshua, where was I? Now Jericho was straitly shut up because of the children of Israel. None went out and none came in. So they locked the doors. They know Israel's outside. They've closed the gates. They've put I don't know what they call it, but like the big board that goes over the doors. They've locked up. They're locked up. They are not, nobody's leaving. Nobody's coming. Nobody's going. These gates are not opening. Those dang Israelites are out there, and we know what happens when they roll into town. And the Lord said unto Joshua, See, I have given unto thine hand Jericho, and the king thereof, and the mighty men of valor. And ye shall compass the city, all ye men of war, and go round about the city once. Thus shalt thou do 6 days. So you're going to walk around the city walls once a day for 6 days. And 7 priests shall bear before the ark 7 trumpets of ram's horns. And the 7th day shall ye compass the city 7 times, and the priests shall blow with the trumpets. We're doing this is like Waco. They're doing auditory mental mind games. They're blowing trumpets outside the walls all day long. Nobody can sleep. And it shall come to pass that when they make a long blast with the ram's horns, and when ye hear the sound of the trumpet, all the people shall shout with a great shout. Shout, shout, let it all out. And the wall of the city shall fall down flat, and the people shall ascend up, every man straight before him. And Joshua the son of Nun called the priests and said unto them, Take up the ark of the covenant, and let 7 priests bear 7 trumpets of ram's horns before the ark of the Lord. And he said unto the people, Pass on and compass the city, and let him that is armed pass on before the ark of the Lord. And it came to pass, when Joshua had spoken unto the people, that the 7 priests bearing the 7 trumpets of ram's horns passed on before the Lord, and blew with the trumpets, and the ark of the covenant of the Lord followed them. And the armed men went before the priests that blew with the trumpets, and the reward came after the ark, the priests going on and blowing with the trumpets. And Joshua had commanded the people, saying, Ye shall not shout, nor make any noise with your voice, neither shall any word proceed out of your mouth, until the day I bid you shout, then ye shall shout. So they're being totally silent for 6 days, walking around this wall. The only sound is the sound of the trumpets once a day. On the 7th day, they're going to circle it 7 times, blow the horn 7 times, and everybody's going to, you haven't talked for 7 days, you built up this energy, and you're going to shout at the top of your lungs, and the walls are going to come tumbling down. Oh my gosh. Oh my goodness. Gorilla biscuits. You're getting on my nerves. Capitalism because lowercase is boring. Ooh, good dad joke. Good dad joke. Then ye shall shout. So the ark of the Lord compassed the city, going about it once. And they came into the camp and lodged in the camp. And Joshua arose early in the morning, and the priests took up the ark of the Lord. And 7 priests bearing 7 trumpets of ram's horns before the ark of the Lord went out continually and blew with the trumpets. And the armed men went before them. But the reward came after the ark of the Lord, the priests going on and blowing with the trumpets. And the second day they compassed the city once and returned into the camp. So they did 6 days. And it came to pass on the 7th day that they rose early about the dawning of the day and compassed the city. Compass means they're walking around it. Compassed the city after the same manner 7 times. Only on that day they compassed the city 7 times. And it came to pass at the 7th time, when the priests blew with the trumpets, Joshua said unto the people, Shout, for the Lord hath given you the city. And the city shall be accursed, even it and all that are therein. To the Lord only Rahab the harlot shall live, she and all that are with her in the house, because she hid the messengers that we sent. Rahab the harlot's going to live. God loves these harlots. Gomer, Rahab, Mary, possibly, allegedly, maybe. Not Jesus' mama. No simping in chat, homie. Facts. You guys should never ever go live and just watch JS Urban Adventures. That's better. Facts. That's how we do it. There you go. And ye, in any wise, keep yourselves from the accursed thing, lest ye make yourselves accursed, when ye take of the accursed thing and make the camp of Israel curse and trouble it. But all the silver and gold and vessels of brass and iron are consecrated unto the Lord. They shall come into the treasury of the Lord. So the people shouted when the priests blew with the trumpets, and it came to pass, when the people heard the sound of the trumpet, and the people shouted with a great shout, that the wall fell down flat, so that the people went up into the city, every man straight before him, and they took the city. And they utterly destroyed all that was in the city, both men and women, young and old, and ox and sheep, and ass, with the edge of the sword. But Joshua had said unto the 2 men that had spied out the country, Go into the harlot's house, and bring out thence the woman and all that she hath, as ye swear unto her. And the young men that were spies went in, and brought out Rahab, and her father, and her mother, and her brethren, and all that she had, and they brought out all her kindred, and left them without the camp of Israel. And they burnt the city with fire, and all that was therein. Only the silver and the gold and the vessels of brass and of iron they put into the treasury of the house of the Lord. And Joshua saved Rahab the harlot alive, and her father's household, and all that she had. And she dwelleth in Israel even unto this day, because she hid the messengers which Joshua sent to spy out Jericho. So she lied, and she was blessed for it. She lied to hide the messengers, and she was blessed for it. So whenever somebody says, well, what if you have your wife and your kids under the bed and somebody breaks into the house and they say, is there anybody else here? And you say no, is that okay? That's not a bad example. It's a great example because it's exactly what happens in Joshua 4, 5, and 6. Well, not exactly, but pretty close. Who knew Bible could be so fun? That's right, I knew. And Joshua adjured them at that time, saying, Cursed be the man before the Lord that riseth up and buildeth this city Jericho. He shall lay the foundation thereof in his firstborn, and in his youngest son shall he set up the gates of it. So the Lord was with Joshua, and his fame was noised throughout all the country. The end. Not the end, but that's the end for today. Jehovah told the prophet Samuel to anoint David as king. Lie to anoint David. Samuel or Eli? Are you talking about when he told him Are you talking about when he told him to do two things, do a sacrifice and do an anointing? But if Saul asked you, only tell him about the sacrifice? Is that what you're talking about? Are you talking about Samuel, 1 Samuel 16, 1 through 6, where God tells Samuel to make a sacrifice? Yeah, he tells him to make a sacrifice and to anoint David. And if Saul asks, only tell him that you're making a sacrifice. So basically, God tells, yeah, we talked about this a couple weeks ago. I don't know if you were here, Seesaw. But is that a lie by omission? Did God tell, is a lie by omission even a thing? I think that's some feminist gobbledygook. I don't think there's such a thing as a lie by omission. But if there is, then that means God told Samuel to lie to Saul by omission. But it depends on if you think that that's a lie. Because really, he didn't lie. He just left out half of the truth. Lying by omission. God doesn't get hung up on details. No, that's what it would be. So it's either a lie or it's not. I don't think he lied. I think he just left out part of it. You know? Lying by omission is retarded. Right. So he didn't actually tell him to lie. He just told him, keep part of it to yourself. Don't say half of it. When he asks you what you're doing, just tell him half of what you're doing. Because then you're not lying. You are actually doing that. You're just leaving out some of it. I agree. I don't think he lied. Yeah. Now, if you believe in lies by omission, then he did lie. God told him to lie. Which I don't necessarily think that would be a bad thing, because I mean, you could say God, it doesn't explicitly say that God told Rahab to lie, but if God is in control and Rahab was a tool, Rahab was a necessary piece who had to lie to save the spies so that her life and her family's life could be saved, then effectively God told Rahab to lie because it was the right thing to do. Without, maybe he didn't like directly tell her, but you see what I'm saying? You see what I'm saying? You see what I'm saying? All right, guys. We started a little early today, so we're going to call it quits a little early today. We got 6 chapters in. We got all the way through crossing of the Jordan and taking Jericho. So next we gotta divide up this land. Ooh, the sun and the moon standing still is coming up. That's a crazy one. The atheists hate that one. What you think? You think the sun just stopped moving for a long time? Yeah, I do. What you talking about? You think the sun just came to exist from a speck of an atom exploded one day and it made the whole universe? You think that? Oh, you do? Okay, well, yeah, I think the sun stopped one day because God said so. Yes, I believe that. That's crazy, man. That's crazy. Miracles are crazy. Miracles are crazy. The 5 kings are captured. Oh, they're going to capture the 5 kings. The sun and the moon stops. Joshua's conquest. Joshua defeats Jabin. Bro, I love the book of Joshua. Canaan gets divided by Lot. Territory allotted to Judah. Hebron given to Caleb. Oh, yeah, so Caleb is in this. And Caleb got to be in this. The lands of Benjamin and Sebon, the tabernacle set up. Oh, yeah. Joshua's going to get lit. It's a fun book. All right, look at the bags under my eyes. I'm so tired right now. I've been up all night. I only got 4 hours of sleep yesterday on my couch. So I'm ready for a full sleep sesh. Hope you have a great day. I've seen some crazy miracles. Amazing Bible reading as always. Thank you, niece. Thank you, niece. If I'm your what does that make? Auntie? My cousin. I'm my cousin's cousin. I'm my uncle's nephew. I'm my cousin's cousin. So it was just and cuh. My first Bible study live. Well appreciated, dude. Hey, no problem, pirate podcast. Sorry, I'm so tired today. I've been low energy, but that is one of my favorite. What we read today is one of my favorite parts of the whole Bible. I love the book of Joshua, and I love that section that we just read today. That's peak Bible content right there. I didn't do it justice because I've been low energy because I'm tired, and I don't feel good. But it's all right. We'll be back tomorrow. We still got more cool stuff to come up in Joshua. So I will see you guys tomorrow. Let me find somebody to raid. Redirect. It's one of your favorites as well. Yeah, it's a good little chunk there. Good little chunk of Bible there. Hake report for 20 more minutes. Yeah, we'll send you to Jim Bob later in the week. We'll send you to Hake today. I'm extremely jealous. What are you jealous of? Oh, yeah. She's so jealous that the simp isn't talking to her. Word to your mother. I'm jelly and toast. All right. See you guys later. God bless. I'll be back tomorrow. Peace. Keep your eyes open for graphics cards.